Excuse the wet hair. I've just got out of the shower after doing a half marathon. I beat my time, yay. So, hello, welcome everybody back to the channel. Well, I say the channel because it's not particularly mine. Once I put it out there, it becomes everybody else's. My words are for other people to interpret into their own way and how they manage them. But that's what I think on anything that is creative. Once it leaves you, it's no longer yours. Also goes for shared moments. So if you something that you value for yourself, sometimes it's better off keeping it to yourself. Just my opinion. But I wanted to speak to you about something that I'm not gonna lie, still scares the shit out of me. I know scares the shit out of a lot of people. But it's vulnerability. Now, we are raised in a society that will wholeheartedly say that vulnerability is weakness. Yet to have courage to get over something and to be brave, you have to admit that it scares you. And you have to admit it to yourself to be able to get over whatever it is that scares you. Now, vulnerability takes many forms. And I feel like I should just give you a little story for me. Story time! Like, I never give you a video about a story time. So, here we go. Story time. I would quite happily share something, and I realise this quite honestly. I would quite happily share something with somebody that was oversharing just to prove that being vulnerable is not worth it. Now, a prime example would have been a couple of my exes, friends. I'm very, very much one for friends. I used to overshare with friends. Friends that weren't worth my story. And that's a really hard one to understand. It's like if they're friends, then you should be able to share everything, but not everybody deserves every part of you. And being vulnerable means that you can sit with that person and openly expose whatever you're scared of, whatever you're ashamed of, whatever you feel guilt for. I used to be, this is me being vulnerable, okay? Another story time. I used to really resist Brene Brown. Really resist her. Because I was like, oh, she's just too, oh, and then we can sort this out, and then we can sort that out, because overly feminine women make me feel vulnerable because it's not somebody I can't do the whole let's be one with nature. Although I still am one with nature, how they express it is not something that I can manage. It's overly positive to the point where it's naivety positivity, and I just can't manage it because it triggers me, because that kind of feminine to me is not helpful. It's quite toxic. So I used to resist Brene Brown, and I'd try and watch her and then I'd give up, and then I just thought to myself the other day, I'm going to sit and watch her. And I cried. I actually cried, because the reason is I knew I was ready to be vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, that moment where I knew what I was doing, I knew that I was oversharing with people that didn't deserve me, that didn't deserve my words or my story. And I knew who I could. And I've expressed that to certain people that I know I can trust them, and I can trust being vulnerable. And I know that they would never use that against me. And it's a hard thing to go to somebody, here is me. I'm not using it, because if you use it for something, it's victimhood. If you're trying to get something out of it, it's victimhood. If you're telling a part of you that's exposing you, then you're wanting something out of it, that's victimhood. But if you're going, this is me exposed, and you still accept me, or go, all right then, that's a shitty thing to do, but what are we going to do now? Or I will support you as you carry on. I don't condone what you've done, or that wasn't your fault, but what are you going to do now? Or they just sit and listen to you, or they just realize you are you at your very best now, and they don't try to take something, they don't try and give something, they just let you be. And I think that's when you can be your most vulnerable, is with people that you can sit and just be with. And I'm learning who I can and can't just be myself with, which means I have to be myself, which means I have to be vulnerable. So how do you feel about vulnerability? I find that a lot of people just struggle with this because we are told that we're not supposed to be vulnerable, and vulnerable is weakness. We're showing our weaknesses. But not one thing you can ever do that has took bravery to get over it, or courage to get over, didn't start with you going, this scares me. This scares me. And it's always going to scare you. But to understand what scares you, then take the step to do whatever that step is. That's true courage and bravery. And I know we all have it in us. So until next time, thank you for listening again to me. So like, comment. I love hearing your comments, by the way. I just want to say that I love the fact that you take the time to comment. So I really do appreciate all those people that leave me a comment, and I always reply to them. I do my best to do it as soon as possible, but we have lives. And I understand that. And that's my vulnerability. For me to turn around and go, I really want to reply to you straight away, but I have things to do. I'm sorry. I will always reply to each and every comment. So until next time, my lovely people, I hope you're well. Try to be vulnerable. See how it goes.